Cris, you know I'm not going to let you go before I ask you to share at least 3 books that you've read with our book-loving audience out there. What 3 books have you read, Cris, that you'd want to share?
Yeah, so I read daily.
Yeah,
I read at least I'm reading 3 books at any one time. There's a method around it. I'll be reading something around Zimbabwe or Africa or Southern Africa. I'll be reading something around media. I'll be reading something about the world. So I'll pick up on anything. And my interests cover a whole range of issues, partly because I do a lot of media training, and it covers all sorts of subjects.
Right.
And I feel challenged not to be a page ahead of the people that I'll be dealing with.
Right.
But one of the books that have, first about books, I always use. So I get
You have an amazing library at your home. So
yes.
We'll share the pictures of that beautiful library at home with a whole host of books there.
Okay, thanks. Okay? Thank you very much. So how do I get in? So I get into journalism first through a book publishing house.
Yes. Motto.
So we're based in Gweru.
Mambo Press.
Yes, and it's a book publisher. So I get into a media surrounded by books, and that has carried me through. And I meet friends along the way who are bookworms, and one of them I'd like to pay special tribute to is a friend called, he's late now, Edward Mamutse. Yeah, I've always had friends sometimes who are older than me because they've been to the warfront of life, and they've more to share. And we developed a habit of every month would buy at least a book. In my case, a book and a record, a music record, now CDs or whatever. But monthly I would without. And I've built a huge collection for myself across subjects. But one of the books that I found really interesting is this book called The Aztec.
Gary Jennings, The Aztec.
Yeah.
A dazzling and hypnotic historical novel in the tradition of Shogun.
Yeah, but if you go, it's dealing with the Aztecs of the Latin America, Mexico, and all the rest. But it deals with all issues, from governance to social relations to how civilizations rise and prosper and how civilizations die. And I've had a fascination with that. So that's one of the books I always recommend. It's a bit of a hard reading, but very enjoyable. The other book that I found and I recommend is The Fall of the Roman Empire. So it doesn't matter. In our case, we constantly referring to the Munumutapa Empire, which means there was a glorious past at some stage. Sometimes I'm wondering when I look at ourselves whether we are worthy inheritors of the Munumutapa Empire for what they are in terms of strength of character, commitment to public service, and a confidence about relations with other states, never cowards, warrior state, right from the start. And I'm always, and when you look at that whole period, so it's, one of the books I'm always looking at and going back to is the late Stan Mudenge's Munumutapa Empire. Yeah, it looks like a historical book, but for me it is a motivational book about who we were, but also what we can be today.
Wow.
The third book that I would sort of recommend, I think I had actually written, I thought, is The Africans by Mazrui.
Yes, Ali Mazrui.
Ali Mazrui. I have friends who have arguments about how he was right wing and all the rest. I'm not trapped by
isms.
Isms, no, unfortunately. But what I like is the confluence of systems and ideas and subjects that come. And I always recommending that. Again, for us as Africans and as people, when there's so much that there is to demotivate us, we need a lot of motivation to keep going. And I find in those 3 books a thread that runs through.
I see the thread.
Yeah, I see the thread.
I see the thread.
Yeah, so I do read across subjects.